Oops. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's all right. Okay. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Looking at everything is okay here. We'll try to, I don't know, something like that. Whoops. Like that. A little fire. Got the screen. Got a few things to show. It's a little high. Here we go. And so that's okay. We're expecting some snow here. We're expecting 4 to 5 inches of snow before it changes to rain. So winter is definitely still saying, hey, I'm still here. Even though we're now into spring. So we've got a few things to talk about, including tomorrow is the first day of we are going to be lost on our schedules for a while, as we are going to be in the new schedule season. Last day today, actually at 0 UTC tonight, a lot of stations will have shifted over to the A23 shortwave schedules. So everything's going to be different. If you don't find your favorite station where it should be, it's normal. And so here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you, all of you here. So this is the Shortwave Radio Show. We are here, of course, on Saturday at 2000 hours UTC. I will get a little something here that I want to copy, because tomorrow is a special event for you guys that want to join in the fun. And so there we go. Let me just copy this so you guys have all the details. If you have not yet registered for tomorrow's event, here we are. Copy. Okay. There we go, guys. So, welcome aboard. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. We are live talking about radio, shortwave radio in general, and so on. Scanner radio, anything radio, amateur radio, whatever radio you want to talk about, we're going to talk about. So, welcome aboard. And of course, we have a lot of fun talking about radio in general. We, have just a great time, all of us together here. I think it's what's cool here is that, we reach an audience of people that most of us and most of you have this hobby that you do, and it's pretty much a hobby you do alone at home. Kind of fun to, hook up with other people. We talk so many times, I hear people incorrectly mention that the internet is killing shortwave, when the internet has nothing to do with killing shortwave. It's so many other factors that are actually creating this, the reduction in stations we've had over the past years. It had started way before the internet was even a thing for most of us. And I find that it's the other way around. The internet is the biggest help that we can have. Never before did we have such an easy access to schedules, to know what we're listening to. I mean, this is so fantastic. How many times in the past did you listen to a station, in the good old days, and had to sit there and wait and use lists that were often not even accurate, and just, well, we'll see what that is. I still remember going through in good old days, going through the blue pages of the passport to world band radios. You guys remember the blue pages? We would go there and we'd look. Sometimes we'd look at the line and try to figure out what language is this. It's because they had different styles of lines on the schedule print that would give different languages. No, I would immediately recognize because of I speak French and English. I'd immediately recognize everything that was English and French. But sometimes what's that? And you look at the strange line and oh, that's uh, you know sorry guys, so that's Arabic or whatever. Anyways, often Passport was decent, but Passport had the same flaw that a lot of the books and magazines had in the day. Schedules were printed way in advance. I mean, the Passport was a once a year publication, so it had what was the most accurate schedules they could find at the time of print. But as the time went by, less and less of those schedules were actually accurate. So basically, we would have a lot of stations at some point that it was like, what's that? Remember a German club that had a wonderful. It was only schedules. They had a little book. It was a publication they had. I don't remember. I think it was issued every 3 months, and that publication contained German and English language broadcasts by time. So I remember getting some of those because I thought that was so great to have that the book that had English and German only, and go through the schedules. But then again, when you publish, every 3 months, stations change frequency. Stations change frequency even more frequently back in the day because there were so many stations that they were listening to, getting reception reports, and it's like, hey, you're getting, clobbered by Radio Moscow that's right next to you or whatever. And they'd move to a new frequency sometimes in the middle of the schedule season. Add to the fact that today they made things a little easier. It's not the best, but it's, I think, the best of both worlds, we might say. Today we change schedules twice a year. There's the A and B schedule season. A schedule season starting tomorrow is always starts on the last Sunday of March. The B schedule season for winter in the Northern Hemisphere starts at the last Sunday of October. But back in the 80s and the 70s, we had 4 schedule seasons. So we had a schedule for winter, for fall, for spring, for summer. So they were changed 4 times, actually. So that was getting complicated to follow any stations. So now we have the internet. And even though tomorrow schedules are not going to be accurate for the most part, it won't take long. We'll have accurate schedules and we'll be again just, oh, what's that on that frequency? And just punching it in some search engine somewhere that you have for your schedule seasons. Or in my case, I'll be looking at EIBS space. It's like, oh, okay, that's that station. So, all of that. Also, what's going to be interesting to see in the schedule seasons tomorrow is what frequency some stations will be using. And the reason why, one of the good aspects of sometimes the way they choose frequencies is that, we know North America is not target area for the majority of stations now. So what happens is that we can still hear them, but we hear them weaker because they're not targeting us. Yet sometimes they are targeting us, but unintentionally. So one of the stations I always look at what frequencies and what transmitter side they're using is the BBC World Service. Because sometimes they'll choose Madagascar at a certain time and certain frequency, and that frequency just booms into North America. Why? Because, Madagascar transmitting to Africa, we're in the same line. We're in the path of that signal. It doesn't stop once it gets to the border of the Atlantic Ocean, it continues. It's a radio signal, and often gives us an interesting propagation and stations. That is going to be the real cool thing to look at the schedules. Expect this week probably a series of videos that I'll be posting about me making some personal observations of times and frequencies and things we can hear for the new schedule season. I often do that in the first couple of weeks of the new schedule seasons. Also, I'll be continuing my new series that a lot of people find very interesting. What's this signal? I'm gonna have a lot of more of those, where I'm gonna identify, give a little history sometimes to what's that and what's out there. I see so many people get on a frequency, and it's like, what's that? And it's like, well, you know what? Maybe having a series of videos is going to be interesting. You're going to know a little more about it and the frequencies they use. So if they use more than one frequency and so on. I think that is going to be very interesting. I know a lot of people are excited about that series. And of course, we're going to continue checking out. I have confirmation this week. I got confirmation on Monday from XH Data that they have sent the correct XH data, the good version now that doesn't have that flaw of the D109, which is going to be nice to receive. Honestly, I don't really care about that flaw, but obviously, if I have to punch in a frequency on 17,800, it's going to be easier on the other one. So definitely, so I'll have two of them basically, and it's going to be interesting. So they fixed that flaw, and I don't know if they took the time to fix any other little details or little things, but at least fixing that flaw is a good, the big aspect. I'm going to talk a little more about the D109. I got a few questions over the week that I'll answer it here also. So, anyways, it's really a lot of fun to be here, and we're going to have that little moment starting tomorrow with the schedules. That's going to be interesting. So tomorrow also, for those that are here, and I'm going to mention it a few times during the show, we have a Zoom meeting for everyone that is here. That's on the Shortwave channel, on the YouTube channel for Shortwave, on the Facebook group. Everybody that in some way or another are participants in the official Shortwave channel, Facebook group, YouTube channel, or live shows here, we are inviting you. I can kind of say that this is a joint effort by the Canadian International DX Club, because thanks to CIDX and Sheldon Harvey, we are using the CIDX Zoom account in order for me to have the Zoom meeting tomorrow. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 hours Universal Time, we're going to have a Zoom where, we want to meet you. We want to see your face. We want to see who you are. We'll have a, little round table going through everybody and saying, hey, how are you? And, have a small intro and a small part of your life and who you are. Give a new dimension to, all of this, because, chat room's great, but chat room is text. We don't see each other. We don't have this. It's not the same thing. Now we'll have a closer look, and more intimate look into everybody's life by having a Zoom meeting together. Last count, we are not very far from 100. So hey guys, why not? Let's get over 100. So I just posted the Zoom meeting event. You click the link there. You just fill in the info. It's free. You will receive an email with confirmation and a link for the meeting tomorrow. You have to register before tomorrow to get in. That's how you're going to be able to get in. So you can also register tomorrow morning before the event also. So click the link and join us tomorrow. I think it's going to be a lot of fun at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's 1700 hours UTC. That's 10 a.m. Pacific. And it's going to be evening in Europe. So I think it's going to be a good turnout. Going to be fun to see everybody and have a little chat with you guys and do a little round table of who you are. If you don't have a camera, it doesn't matter. You can join in just with a microphone. At least we'll hear you. And, you could be the quiet in the background if you want. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is the second time we're doing this. And I think it's going to be, the first one was great. And I think tomorrow's going to be fun also. If you are joining us for the first time, or if you aren't sure, here, this is a live show that has a chat room, so you can go and check the chat room, join in, say hi, ask questions. Lots of people here, helpful people, where this is a great gang, so why not join in and say hi? We also have a Facebook group, which is the same name as the channel, official SWL channel. Facebook group, kind of the place where everything continues and where things are happening when the live shows are over. And it's a pretty active group, more than 3,000 members. So this is going to be part of the rest of the week. People just share what they're listening there and so on, and the radios and so on. So it's kind of a very active group. Once again, very cool group too. Very interesting. No crap going on our YouTube and our Facebook groups. Just some great people and helpful people. Also, if you're new, you're not really sure what to do, it's the great place to be. So, chat room. Hey, Bobby, Master Players Radio and Television Plus Gaming. Nice to have you here. WA5107 SWL in Louisiana. David's Radio Room. Nice to have you here. Patient Prepper. Nice to have you on board from Ontario, Canada. Ordered a D808 a couple of days ago. Great radio. Going to have fun with that. Danny Shortwave and Radio DX. Nice to have you here from Yonkers, New York. We have Tatoy Crisanto, nice to have you on board from the Philippines. Nice to have you here from pretty much the other side of the world. I hope you're well. Gary24 fan, nice to have you on board. So sorry about the passing of your sister. My condolences, and totally understand. I had to go through that in 2011 with my sister that died at the age of 54. And so take care of yourself also. It's one of those moments that, often we kind of reflect a little more on our lives and, what we're doing and where we're going. And kind of makes us realize also that I'm not going to be here forever, unfortunately. By the way, cheers, everybody. My cranberry juice and lime and citrus sparkling water. Cheers. So nice to have you here, Gary24 fan. Shortwave Archive, nice to have you here from Colorado. We have KW1161, nice to have you here from Tucson, Arizona. Kenneth, nice to have you here. Matt, MDK2, nice to have you here from Denver, Colorado. We'll be busy today, so no problem, but it's nice to have you here. By the way, guys, if you want to tune around, it's the WPX ham contest or the World Prefix contest. Lots of activity on the ham bands and time to listen to really exotic and unique stations. So check that out. The ham band's going to be full of activity, that's for sure. We have Brad. Nice to have you on board from Texas. Been in hospital since the 14th. Stuff keeps me going. Well, you know what? If this takes you and distracts you from being in the hospital, which is never fun, well, it's cool to have you here and that you have some way to actually join us and change your mind. So welcome aboard, Brad, and hope things are getting better soon. Arthur's Out of Crafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you here from Massachusetts. Was working at a restored National HRO 500 solid state, built less than a mile from where my dad grew up. Still an old radio. resisted temptation, but it's so nice. Yeah, I know the feel. There's so many beautiful and nice things in there that we would all want to have, basically. Um, mm, 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 mm. What else? RJDA Dakota, nice to have you here. We have TVDXer, salut, ça va bien, j'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. Not very far from Montreal. Richard Califano, nice to have you here from Albany, New York. WA2157SWL, nice to have you here. And hope you're still having fun with all those radios and the SDR. Mark Canceller, nice to have you here from England. Pretty cool to have you here. René Charbonnier, nice to have you here from the Netherlands. Welcome on board, my friend. Hope you are well. Hook 911, nice to have you here. Tech Guy, nice to have you on board. We have K-Dong, nice to have you here. We have Archer's Autocrafters Kitchen and Audio Lab. We have Catalin, nice to have you here. We have Paul Steckler, nice to have you on board from the California. James Binder, nice to have you here. DX Winger, nice to have you on board from Southeast Pennsylvania. Michael, nice to have you on board from Northern New Jersey. Daniel Atkinson, nice to have you on board, England. Joseph, nice to have you here from San Francisco Bay Area. Tuning in on the shortwave and scanner bands today, just reading the mail. Richard Wagner, nice to have you here from Northeast Illinois. Richard, could you explain the waterfall colors and signals we are looking at? Do you mean on the on SDR Play devices? Just out of curiosity, or what I have here in my background, just out of curiosity. Chuck, nice to have you on board, and 5 KVO from South Texas. Erica Trull, nice to have you here from Boston. Mad Max 2069, nice to have you on board from Ohio. Yeah, we're supposed to have a lot of winds here too. Just up north here in Montreal, we're going to have 4 or 5 inches. It started snowing actually now. 4 or 5 inches before it changes to rain. But up north of the St. Lawrence Valley, they're expecting up to a foot of snow and some pretty strong winds too. Okay, and what else do we have? KWN61 says Tucson's supposed to have frost tomorrow morning. Wow. Sean Finnegan, nice to have you on board from Massachusetts. Tim McGraw, nice to have you on board from Akron, Ohio. Stan, nice to have you here. Brad Shaver, nice to have you here. Steve Lynn, hello there. Stan has a Radio Shack DX392. Skipwave DX, nice to have you here. Nice to have on board Rich from Catskill Mountains in New York. And hoping the freezing rain doesn't pull down my Delta V dipole antenna again. Yeah, you guys have this freezing rain. Youch. Here we did have a little bit on from Wednesday to Thursday morning. We had a little bit of freezing rain, but not that much. Paul Steckler, bizarre experience with AliExpress. A seller there had the D109 with coupons, total price about $37 with shipping. I placed an order. It was closed due to a security concern. Refunded, but weird. Huh, okay. Neil Rigby, nice to have you here from the UK. RJ Dakota says, every time I hear about the internet shortwave debacle, I just send people to this channel. Yeah. Joseph, the internet deaf facilitates the hobby for me. QESDRs have been so incredibly fun for me. I can just spend hours listening to sites around the world and finding interesting and unique things. And that's another thing. You know, the ability, it is amazing. The ability to tune a radio somewhere else around the world and you know, from your home. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Kenneth says his debut show next Sunday, April 2nd on 6115 WWCR. We do need more and more stuff on shortwave. Absolutely. Um, Stan also has a Galaxy DX 959 SSB. Cool. Roger Schultz, nice to have you on board. And Yaesu FTDX10, absolutely. I love my Yaesu FTDX10. You know what? I purchase a lot of radios over years, and it's always exciting to have a little radio. But I think the most exciting radio purchase of the last few years, let's say it's the most exciting purchase of a radio since my Texan H501X, and even more. My Yaesu FTDX10 definitely is an amazing radio. I'm very, very happy and proud to have it and play around with it. Jim's radio check. Nice to have you here. Remembering all the people that lost their lives last night in the awful tornadoes. Yeah, you guys. And what was it in Missouri? I forgot the state, but yeah, that's so sad. I was looking at the pictures on TV, and man, the devastation is amazingly crazy. Stan has a Browning Baron 40 channel SSB CB radio I need looked at keys backwards and worked good in our vehicle. Michael Andrew, nice to have you here. RGA Dakota, send those people here. Probably the best arena for promotion of the hobby. Definitely. And for everything, even amateur radio. Man Max 2069. Somebody say that the internet is killing shortwave. I tell them that they're not correct. Pretty much tell them the same you stated why it's not. Ron C. Nice to have you here, Ron. Cliff Bolts. Nice to have you here. WD40BP. Nice to have you on board. Bonjour et bienvenue. Radio for Peace International, or FBI. And I need to check your schedule. I need to listen to your broadcast. I haven't. I always stumble by accident to pretty much everything lately. I don't look at the schedules really, and I just start tuning around when I have time. And then a couple of months back, I fell on Radio for Peace International. Another time was Radio Prague, Radio Slovakia, or Argentina, and I'm like, whoa, okay. It's it's really by accident half of the times. So need to check that out. And I guess for the new schedule season, you might have a different schedule or different, maybe even a time shift in the times because of I know that the time change causes WWCR and WRMI to have shifts sometimes in their programming by 1 hour. Glenn Zekman, nice to have you here from Ohio. Mark Kessler has reached beyond Australia, comes to England really well because we're on the line of the northern India and Pakistan. Yeah. When you're on the line, if you're on that line of transmission and the frequency used is a good one to reach you, works amazingly well. So let me just go catch where I was a little more. Shelly, nice to have you here from South Central Pennsylvania. Osakama, nice to have you on board. J.S. Wyman, nice to have you here from Maryland. Mark says, I don't know how to use Zoom. I have had one once. They couldn't hear me when I eventually managed to join. Just get in and try to do your best. Do your best. Sometimes it's a little tricky depending on the device you use. Jim from Rhode Island, nice to have you here. Stan, I want to know what shortwave stations I can listen to. You can listen to. It depends where you are. It's easier for some than others, but anywhere from Radio Romania, Voice of Turkey, Radio New Zealand, Voice of America, the BBC World Service, the Vatican Radio. You have many relays through WRMI of stations like Radio Slovakia, Radio Prague, Argentina, programs like Radio for Peace International, and so much more. There's some DX shows also. It's really, really, NHK Radio Japan, and so much more. It's tune around and you'll have a lot of stuff. There are schedules online too. That will be accurate in a few weeks because tomorrow is the big change. But V2FGJ, nice to have you on board. J'espère que tu vas bien. Nice to have you here. Danny Shortwave, Gilles, I want your opinion about Wellbrook. It's closing their business next month. Antennas like Wellbrook and all of that, they work fine, and that it's I totally understand that these antennas are great, but I think there's a lot of pressure going on. I mean, I've seen some hams and some say, well, the beginners have an MLA30 and they're really the real guys have these big W6 LVP loops or Wellbrooks. And in some aspects, the Wellbrooks and the W6 LVP are probably better than MLA30, especially I would say in the very low frequency range, medium wave, long wave, particularly. They probably outperform an MLA30. That's for sure. And if you're one of those that listens to all of that, yeah, you probably have more performance out of it, definitely. That said, if you're a shortwave guy, I have a W6 LVP loop that actually I took down 2 weeks ago. Why? Because I don't use it. And when I got the W6 LVP, it was to help out with reception of radio signals, and it did. The problem is it's expensive. Wellbrooks are expensive. And when I got the MLA30, the first thing I thought was, well, I never would have bought a W6 LVP loop ever if I knew that the MLA30 was so good. And, I would have had 20 MLA30s for the price of the Wellbrook in Canadian dollars. So several things are affecting their business. That's for sure. One is you buy a radio for 100. You don't want to buy an antenna for 4 times or 3 times the price of a radio. Nobody wants to do that. The Wellbrooks cater at a very specific audience, which are the guys like me that might have more expensive radios. The ICOM ICRD 500 or my Kenwood R 5000, because they're expensive, but at least you've got an expensive radio. You're thinking, well, the Wellbrook must be a good antenna for that. It definitely is. But we're in a world where, and that's where when we get a lot of discussions about radios and what the future radio and the future radio could be an SDR, portable SDR, and all of that. My thinking of the future of shortwave is through inexpensive, good radios, which means things like, the XH Data D808 or the Texan PL330 or radios that give you great performance for a low price. Yeah, of course, on my Yaesu, if I use it with all the bells and whistles that comes with it, there are settings, there are things that the noise reduction that sometimes I use, not often, because I don't find that to be that amazing of a feature. It helps to an extent, but it also can be annoying to an extent on the way that it actually treats the signal. like noise reduction, stuff like and noise blankers and so on. I never use them on the radio. I find that they add more distortion than they actually fix any noise problems. But um, when you have radios like that, of course they do give you a little more performance. But you know what? What I always say when somebody tells me, well, it'd be better with a $2,000 radio. Well, just going to tell you one thing. When I see the performance of a Texan PL330 that costs $80 or $90, I see one thing is that these big Yaesu radios are great, but in all honesty, they don't give you for $1,500 or $2,000 worth of performance. Because when you look at these low priced radios, how they perform, you're like, yeah, I'm getting a little better. I'm not getting for $1,000 more of better. It's a complex thing. It's much more with so many other things that you're spending that money, including having a bigger radio that, in this case, touchscreen and, part SDR, part hybrid radio. But Walbrook is facing, and I'm sure, a lot of pressure because even with expensive radios, I've seen a lot of guys just say, hey, I got an MLE30 for $40. That hurts. When I saw the MLE30 for the first time and tested it for the first time against the W6 LVP loop, first thing that I thought is, okay, these guys are in trouble because we're not getting for the price sold that much of an increased performance. And in many cases on shortwave, not really better performance. So it's definitely something that hurts them. And I think Walbrook is suffering from that and suffering from the fact that, I think a little bit like Mac computers, somebody who buys a $2,000 radio has a good chance that he would buy a Walbrook rather than an MLA30 because he's heard great things about them. And, I spent a lot of money on a radio, might as well spend a lot of money on a good antenna. So it's a little bit like buying a Mac versus a PC. You buy stuff that are more expensive because you buy a more expensive radio or computer, in terms like in a Mac, and you get that going on. The problem is there's less and less people buying expensive radios, and I bought an expensive Yaesu transceiver. I would not have purchased a ICOM ICRD 600, for example. I don't find that it's worth that amount of money. If you got the money to buy it and you want one, great. You do have a great radio in an ICOM ICR 8600, but it becomes more of a personal thing. So I think MLA 30, inexpensive, great. Mixed in with less people are going to buy expensive radios today. They're in a hobby or they're in a bracket of the hobby where probably sales were lower and lower and lower over time. And I bet you that pretty much everybody making these expensive loops, they're all kind of suffering. Now, part of the business from Walbrook will, go into some other manufacturer. Larry that makes the W6 LVP loop might actually pick up some of that business. And that's going to help him continue. But for a big part, inexpensive radios, you're going to go for an inexpensive but good antenna. An MLE30 is pretty amazing. Pretty much what I had to say here on these things. Spacebar, nice to have you here from the UK. VT Radio, Paul, nice to have you on board from Northern Vermont. Idaho Ed, nice to have you here. Andreas B, nice to have you here from Oslo, Norway. Sheila is in Belleville, Ontario, Canada, and can hardly wait for tomorrow's Zoom event. Are you guys gonna see me? Oh no, that's already done. um, Osaka, what's your favorite amateur band to DX on? I love the 10-meter band. It's a great band with not a lot of power. You do the world. It's pretty amazing. And because it has different modes that are kind of cool, like FM if you want, and so on. But my favorite band, honestly, will be what's the best band at the time that I want to do some ham radio contacts. But 10 meters is fun. 20 meters is an overall great band, especially now it's starting to be pretty much 24 hours now, and it'll be for the summer, which is kind of cool. You can turn on your rig at 2 in the morning when it's dark and hear stations from all over the world on it, and it's pretty cool. 20 meters is great. Each band has its great positive thing to go on. It's they're all great, but I tend to try to be on a higher frequency ranges all the time, the higher bands. But 10 is definitely has a special place. And now it's open every day, so it's pretty cool. Steve Lynn, nice to have you here from England. M7TZT. What else do we have? What channel on shortwave to listen to the Hamfest? I don't get the question. Michael Langer, my MFJ Atomic Works, only thing I ever bought from them that worked. Watch. Kenneth, anybody knows if the analog XH data D368 is very sensitive on shortwave? It's so-so. I got one here. It's so-so, and it's not analog. It's a DSP radio disguised as an analog-looking radio. Pretty much every radio you'll see today with a needle that look analog are not analog. They're all DSP. Trustin, nice to have you on board from Newfoundland. Richard Edge, nice to have you here. VE7RXE from British Columbia. What else do we have? Richie's Radio Room, nice to have you on board from Wisconsin Military Academy. Jarmo Nordback, nice to have you here from Finland. Nice to have you here from Finland. Pretty cool. Miki Dalmich, bonjour. Hi. Nice to have you here from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. On Izzy Aruna. Yeah. The best thing for that will be to make a couple of videos. If you have specific questions like that, Richard, write them down in an email and send me the email, because it's going to help me at the same time kind of go through, what ideas I should, have to make videos. Definitely going to help me out. Gary 24 fan here in northern Maine, maybe 7-10 inches, and will be heavy and wet. Mark Snelling, nice to have you here. Got my first radio yesterday, PL330. Cool, great little radio. Gonna have fun with that. Now it's the learning curve time where you'll need to check out what you can listen to and how to play with the radio and the different settings and modes. Osaka, have you worked on the 10-meter band yet? Every day, every single day when I have time. 10-meter band. I made some contacts lately, a lot of contacts with Japan, and a few contacts from Australia also in the late afternoon here. Robert Cross, nice to have you on board and looking forward to the Zoom meeting. 32 bits, nice to have you here. Going to buy a telescopic pole. Any advice? It will be for an end-fed half wave. Um, as long as if it's a metal thing that you buy, one thing for sure is keep your end fed a little away from it to make sure that it doesn't interact with it. But for the rest, something sturdy. I use a actually it's interesting because my here in the backyard I have the hook that used to be holding the clothesline in the backyard. But when the clothesline broke, I never replaced it because I don't use it. I got a washer and dryer. So when the clothesline was there, I was using it as an antenna. And when it broke down, well, I hadn't, there's nothing that I do with it. But my end fed, what happened is when I had to hook up my end fed, it was like, where are going to put it? Finally, I was able to use, good strength copper wire and hold the balun box with the connectors on the hook. So I put some wire to have a little bit of a space between the house and the box, and so that's where the balun with the connector for the transceiver and the end fed wire is. So I use that here. But you know what? Anything sturdy enough that it'll withstand the weight of the wire, and I always think about the wind when it's very windy. And if you're in an area like here that could have ice storms and heavy snow, well, just sturdy enough to hold all of that in the worst of situations. Mississippi, thank you, Mickey. It's Mississippi. I knew it started with M, but I didn't remember which one. Mississippi. Yep. So sad to hear about that. Burning carbon resistors. Yep, pretty much. Too much heat generated by the high current. Um, what else do we have? Let's continue on. Blown capacitors. The smell, I can remember. I can, when you have a capacitor that blows, electrolytic capacitor. Oh man, the smell that creates. Michael, nice to have you on board from West Virginia. Alembic 65, nice to have you on board. Before going to the airport to the Cleveland International Film Fest. Sorry. Cool. Mark Kidd, WM9K, nice to have you on board. Vinny Fundakar, greetings. Which radio you're going to suggest between a PL990 or a Eton Elite 750? PL990 all the way. 750 is overpriced and has so many flaws, like a way too wide setting in the bandwidth, off frequency on the wide settings with 3 kilohertz off, and you're going to have better tuning on the PL990. That said, one thing is that the PL990 does not have airband, if that is important or not for you. But PL990 all the way. What else do we have? Yeah, all the pirate broadcasters, RJ Dakota. Absolutely. There's pirate broadcasters, and a lot of them too. It used to be a little difficult to hear pirates, and now it's like since the pandemic, I don't know, it's kind of almost like if it's started a brand new breed of pirates that they didn't have anything to do, and it's like, hey, let's start a pirate station, and so much more activity since then. Chris C, nice to have you on board. likes listening to late night talk, 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Robert Varner, nice to have you on board. Artists Out of Crafters says, Wellbrook says it's due to retirement. That's a possibility. You know, there's a lot of businesses are going out because of that also. It says reality is the MLE 30 made it impossible for them to compete. That's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, you're not going to do. You can't compete in a $40 market. It's impossible. You know, the only way to compete, you have to be Chinese and make it there. That's um, it's but the retirement thing. There's a lot. You know, here in Montreal, two stores, one ham store and one general radio store that was where some of the shortwave radios I bought in the past came from. Um, have closed due to guys are getting older and they're retiring. It's like, well, nobody's there to buy the business. Steve Fleming, Northeast Wisconsin, nice to have you here. Levi Nathan, nice to have you on board, my friend. Andy New, nice to have you here. Richard Edge, I just recently got my SDR Play working on an old Android phone using the Android driver and SDR Touch. Another way to do shortwave portable for me. Cool. Jim's Radio Check. What else do we have? Mark Kidd says, love my W6 LVP loop, but I agree it's kind of pricey. Yeah. It's because when I got my W6 LVP loop, I hadn't never heard of an MLE 30. It's when I got the MLE 30 that I thought, oh man. And you get to the point where you get your W6 LVP loop and you gotta, get your own coax and all of it. And you end up with an MLA 30 that has pretty long length of coax already with it. It's already ready to work out of the box. You just power it up. And you're like, yeah, for that price W6 LVP loop, I would have enjoyed having, I don't know, at least 50 feet of coax included. That would have kind of made it a little sweeter deal. But anyways. What else do we have? QRP radio listener, nice to have you here from Ponza Island, Italy. Nice to have you here, Giuseppe. And I'm gonna do QRP stuff. I've got this little. So, you guys remember last week there was this guy in the chat room that actually was mentioning that he had a shortwave cartridge for Commodore. So I gave the email and said, well, email me if you want to send it to me. And somebody watching actually had an idea. He got this little thing, which is this is like an older, there's a newer version of this thing today, which is TR USDX, which is a more modern version. This is the older version. So this is USDX plus transceiver. And so you guys might have seen that I've talked about a little bit and even tuned a ham frequency on it. So this is a portable transceiver. It's QRP. It's 5 watts. So I'm going to check out how to hook it up to my PC and make some FT8 maybe with this and FT4. And with an NFED, going to be kind of nice. Bring that in the park, put a little NFED in the trees, and do a little bit of QRP with this, just out of curiosity. So it has a self-contained battery and all of that. So I'm going to try it out. I did use it to listen. It's okay. I mean, it works in reception. It works decently. Now I just need to do a little more and use it as a. So I paid just the shipping for this. It cost $22 to ship, and so it cost me just $22. I was looking at the price online. I would not have paid the price it's sold for, but at $22 just shipping, why not? Another little toy to play with, kind of interesting. So I'm going to do some QRP on outdoor for sure. Jeff King, nice to have you here from Jacksonville, Florida. Greg, nice to have you on board. Happy birthday for this week, and happy 60. It's always a shock when you change the decade, you know, going from 40 to 50 and then 50 to 60. Others out of Crafter's Kitchen says, once I picked up an MLE30 and never looked back and never even reconsidered a Wellbrook. For many in the hobby, it became a status symbol. Yeah. We got to be careful. It's like there's quite a few things, it's like the there's part of the people are like, a little bit snob, I'd say. Like, I got a Mac. It's just almost like, yeah, well, you got a PC, it's a piece of crap. Yeah, well, my PC costs more than your Mac. And I can tell you it's better in every way. Um, so, for me, it's like when you try to throw in my face, I got a Mac, it's like, I don't care. You're not impressing me. And some people use that status. And by the way, I don't want to offend anybody with a Mac. They're great, fine computers. Um, I think some people are of that status. I saw it with one particular comment, that I've seen once where somebody said, "Well, the newbies or the entry level antenna is an MLA30, but when you really want to do stuff, it's a Wellbrook." Yeah, right. That's whatever. I'm always like whatever. Um, it's the same thing. I got a Wellbrook because it has to be better. It's like when I talk about an expensive radio and I don't like it, I always get well, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, because you paid $1,000 for your radio, you can't accept that it has flaws. I can accept one thing. I love my Yaesu. I definitely love my Yaesu, but it's hard to even though I love it and I use it and everything, and there's nice little features on it. It's still hard for me to accept that it costs that amount of money, personally. Um, you know, and no, I'm not going to tell you I'm impressed by the radio so much, and so it's like, no, it does what I want. It has great features. It has a little bit of features that do make me get a little bit more sometimes, but overall, I'm not going to tell you that that thing kills every radio receiver I've got in my home. No, I'm not. So yeah, I paid, in Canadian dollars because the exchange and everything is so complicated. In Canadian dollars, it came up to $2,000. It's a lot of money. And for 2000, I want to be impressed for 2000. Well, it's nice. It's great. I got it. I'm happy. But I'm not impressed for 2000. That's all I'm going to say. But somebody going to watch out there and say, yeah, well, those crappy Chinese Texan. There's always that guy that's popping up like that, and it's like, yeah, well, you know what? Those crappy Chinese Texan, as you call them, are really, really up to par. And I can tell you I wouldn't be afraid to put a Texan PL330 next to my Yaesu and have you listen to the same signal. And you're going to see that you might find it kind of impressive to see how a Texan PL330 holds up decently well to a Yaesu FTDX10. When I see people are like, there's always, well, no, you can't compare that big transceiver with, or that big radio with. No, yes, you can. Absolutely can. Shortwave Archive. Will you ever bring back the Shortwave Past and Present series? It was interesting to see what stations were doing back then, including stations that closed their transmitters way before I was born. Yeah, definitely. I need to continue that. I need to continue that. I stopped at some point. These are, a little harder to make because they take a long time. You need to research. You need to do some research and then prepare slides and prepare stuff. But definitely, I will continue making those. They're fun, and it's. I know that for some, the nostalgia is there. For some, the nostalgia is there, and the the for many others, it's a discovery of what was there in the past in the different radio stations. So yeah, definitely, I will be continuing that. I know it's a lot of fun also to put them together, and I get nostalgic when I do them also because I'm like, yeah, I remember that station from that time period. So yeah, definitely will continue that uh, as time permits, of course. So Bobby got his Zoom client updated for tomorrow. Cool. What else we have? VE9 JMC, nice to have you on board. Wellbrook is suffering because its product can only do so much, especially for the high price tag. Tilbrook Tim, what you get for what you pay. You can't beat a 50 feet length of copper wire. One of the things you got to also remember one thing is that for noise, magnetic loop antennas are great. That's why the MLA30 shines for a lot of us, including here. It lets me do what a 50 feet of wire cannot do. Because here, 50 feet of wire gets me too much noise. And I have an example of that on the Yaesu because the end-fit antenna is a wire. Yet it depends on the frequency. On some frequencies, I get better performance on the wire than I do on the MLA30. And if you live in an environment where it's very quiet, there's not too much interference, you actually get way more performance out of a long length of wire than you will probably with a Wellbrook or any magnetic loop because you get more signal out of it. And usually, when you compare a loop and a long wire, you see there's a big difference. The magnetic loops are great for another type of listening. They're often small enough that they can be put somewhere in an environment where you don't have place for any wires outdoor, or you just can't. You're not allowed, but you are capable of putting up a Wellbrook or an MLA30 or whatever. It's really, really a question of there's so many things around you that decide, what you're going to do. You got a lot of noise, then get on the MLA30. That's going to be your great antenna for performance and getting signals. You don't have a lot of noise, put 100 feet of wire outdoors. You're going to see that thing will be pretty good. Skipwave DX. The MLA30 doesn't need to be very high. It doesn't change much. Honestly, it will change if you can get it out of noise because it's not a miracle antenna. It's not a miracle antenna. The thing is, you get it out of the noise somehow a little, and if putting it a little higher means it's less noise around it, it will also pick up less noise because it still picks up noise. The MLA30 removes some types of noise, not all the noise, but it's mostly putting it out of the noise as much as possible. Jim's radio check. I hooked up a other wire and a ground to the Super Radio 2. I couldn't believe the DX I was getting at night. Michelangelo, my FT747GX sent to me free. Just unreal. Wouldn't let me pay shipping. Wow. Simon Templar, nice to have you here. KWM61, my Pixel Pro 1B, now DX Engineering, paid 400 is definitely superior to the MLA30, but it can't compete on price and portability. S. Fred, nice to have you here. Says, agree, the MLA30 is great. And, for most people, the MLA30 is going to be hooked up to a radio of an inexpensive radio. Danny Shortwave says, yes, I believe the MLA30 popularity and inflation put the Wahlberg out of business. I understand they was a pioneer in active loop antennas, but their time is gone. The competition in there is just so amazing. Even the big manufacturers. Look at when you look at a thing like the Xiegu G90 that gets pretty impressive reviews. That thing is inexpensive compared to a lot of other radios you're going to buy from ICOM, Yaesu, and company. Competition is there. It's there for everyone. TFB Taloa Fishing, Paddling and Outdoors, 20 meters, easiest for DX. In my opinion, K5 ASL. Actually, it depends. Each band is good for DX. It depends on the time and the propagation conditions, the time, and so on. But you'll have a better chance with a low power signal on 10 meters when conditions are really good than you'll have on 20. What also the impression can be. Sometimes we have an impression one band is better than the other, and it could also be the popularity of such band. 20 meters is probably, 20 and 40 are probably the two most popular bands of all. If somebody goes on, he's going to go on 20 or 40 and see what's on. So we might also have an impression of a band better than another, and the way that, that band that's a lot more people monitoring. Chances are higher that you might have also something in a response to a CQ, for example. But I think all bands are, are great. And I'm waiting for a 6 to open. I monitored today. There was actually an opening that lasted 5 minutes, but I wasn't looking at the screen. I left the FT8 and I left the rig on 5313. I was doing other stuff. And then I look at the screen and there's a station that was in Florida that called CQ and even made a couple of contacts. And it lasted about 5 minutes. I could see that in 5 minutes, these stations were all there. And I saw other stations too popping up. And after 5 minutes, boop, nothing anymore. It's just a 5-minute opening. It was like, wow, okay. I missed the 5 minutes where I could have contacted somebody. Chastang, nice to have you here from Louisville, Kentucky. Paulo Pintos, CT1 ETE, nice to have you here from Portugal. Yeah, Wellbrooks for thousands of dollars, meaty fresh. Yeah. Mad Reader DX in the UK, nice to have you on board. M7EIW. Mark Fisher, nice to have you here from Southern Illinois. Art Dodd, nice to have you here. Art K2ADC in New Jersey. Congratulations to Mad Radio DXer with his new call sign. Now all we'll have to do is make contact. Hey, John Beckham, nice to have you here from Northeast Florida. Seven Templar, I added the Yaesu M70 desk mic to my FTDX10 this week. Cool. Fred Waterer, nice to have you on board. Mad Max, okay. What else do we have? He's back. Thank you for the tip, Robert Cross. else we have? Gas tank, as we say in Kentucky, Joel, done moved up and got himself an electric dryer. Man. I was never the guy to go hang out the clothes on the clothesline. It was like, yeah, I know I'm going to save electricity and it's going to lower my electricity bill. But I never just, it's like I look at a clothesline, it's like, nah, I'm going to put it in the dryer. You do keep your clothes longer also on the clothesline because, the dryer just, let's face it, everything you put in the dryer will not last very long because it just gets pounded in there. But for me, the clothesline was an antenna, and now it's holding my end-fed V wire in the back. Smoke and steam. Nice to have you on board. Spacebar, the Elite 750 riddled with issues. Yeah. Simon Templar sold my Elite 750 months ago and put it towards my FTD X10. Yeah, better choice. Better purchase. Smoke and steam. I need your mailing address for the cartridge. Yeah, send me an email for that. The email is official shortwave radio at gmail.com. Or what you could do is go on curez.com and look for VE2ZZI. The details there. No problem, Vinny. Mad Max can't stand waiting on things to be delivered. Oh yeah, they should do a power band. They should open up one part of the spectrum and say, here, everybody that wants to be there, just do it. No license. You put rules like, a kilowatt max. Not interfering with anybody else. Mike WX50, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. Toolbrook Tim, 80 meter LSBs, fuller hammers at night. Yeah, but it's different because 80 meters is not, although, I did do a little bit of DX and have some ham contacts with Europe. It's more of a chit chat band. 80 meters is more like the local gang getting together at night and talking. Which can be fun. It depends on the conversation. There are some hams that have great conversations of radio and stuff. The other bands are more like, let's try to DX the world. But DX can be on 80 and even 160. I'm jealous. When I was able to do 160 on my my end fed before I relocated here and it doesn't tune anymore, I made a lot of contacts. I made more than 100 contacts for sure on the 160. And all the way up to California, which was very, very surprising for me on FT8. But I would look at all these guys making contacts with Europe, and I would never hear any of the Europeans. And I was like, oh, I'm so jealous of you guys with the lower noise. I got too much noise to do that. I don't hear them. I could see on PSK reported my signal would get to Europe on 160 and it goes to Europe easily on 80. But I know that my noise floor is probably blocking a lot of people that might be responding. Sir Maximus Hardwood, nice to have you here. Nice to have you on board. Andrea DXer, looking forward to your videos of the USDX, as I am thinking of getting one for mobile ham stuff. Yep, I'm going to check for making the cable so I can hook it up to the computer for like FT8, FT4, stuff like that. I'm going to check that out. Smoke and steam, 60 miles per hour wind. Long wire still up. Cool. That's good. That's good. That's good. Cool. It's going to be a great dinner, Greg. Great birthday dinner. Hope you have a lot of fun with that. Dwayne, nice to have you here. Just go down. I'm very close to getting to the bottom slowly. Let me just get closer here. 208 people watching. Wow, we're past the 200 mark today. That's pretty cool, guys. And as we have a lot of people, let me just once again, if you are watching this, if you are on the Shortwave channel, on YouTube, on the Facebook group, once again, this is an invitation here that I'm posting the link again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 1700 hours UTC. We're having a Zoom meeting. Why not join? Share your face. Let's know each other a little more. We had one last year. It was a lot of fun. This is our second chance to get acquainted a little more, not just a chat room, but actual people. So we were close to the 100 mark yesterday afternoon. So I don't know how much we'll be now, but hey, join in. It's going to be a lot of fun. And just say hi. So you click the link that I just posted and you answer the questions. You'll receive a confirmation email that you're registered, and just show up during the meetup tomorrow. I expect the meetup to last at least 2 to 3 hours for sure. And the more people are going to be, longer it's going to be also. So we'll, have a little kind of, round table. We're going to go through everybody, have a little introduction, who you are, and so on. And if we have time, I'll have, if people have questions, comments, and stuff, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to thank also Sheldon Harvey and the Canadian International DS Club, because this would not be possible without the ability to use their Zoom account for this purpose. Okay, what else do we have? You just go down here. Spacebar loves his Yaesu radios. Cool. Paul Steckler, have a PC coupled together from parts that runs Linux Mint. No status at all. Mr. C's Garage, good afternoon. Nice to have you here. James Powers, nice to have you on board from New Hampshire, KC1ENJ. Arctic Circle, LR836 is starting now with and having 20 Celsius. Wow, in Sweden. Nice to have you here, Arctic Circle. Let me check it out. Let's go and see if we can hear LR836. Maybe something very, very weak, but I'm not even sure right now. I'm not even sure that I'm getting it. We're gonna usually it's more like at 22 UTC, 23 UTC that it starts getting. Last week, it actually was much stronger, like at 23. So it was a little later. So we're going to continue monitoring. So if you guys want to try it, once again, LR836 and the Argentina scientific base in Antarctica, 15476 upper sideband. They're going on until 03 UTC apparently. So if you guys want to check that out. Bill Miller, nice to have you here from Northern Ireland. MI0NUM. Mad Max 369, the only Yaesu I own is the FT2980, and that's because it was so inexpensive. Mandarin DXer, when I got my MLA30 and tried it for the first time, I could not believe how close it was to my Wellbrook. Yeah, that's exactly what I found when I got my mine with and compared it to my W6 LVP loop. And it's like I was blown away. It's like, wow, Okay. Robert Cross, absolutely. We'll go through and we'll try to find some time for everybody, Robert Cross. But definitely, if you can do a little tour of the radio, absolutely, it'd be fun to watch. Robert. So Lambic is back. Hopefully that the internet's going to hold up. We have Jay Waterston 69. Nice to have you here. We have Mike WX50. I'm one of those fans of radio nostalgia. Listening to Shortwave back in the late 70s and 80s was great. Yep. Sunwave, nice to have you here from Oklahoma City. Matt, Texan PL 680 or Ethon Elite Executive. I'd like the Airband. They're both good radios. The PL 680 has the advantage of being a truly PLL analog receiver with digital frequency display, so it doesn't mute when you tune, which is a big thing if you use the tuning knob a lot. If you're about to choose a tuning knob a lot to tune around, your PL 680 is going to do a much better job, because the Eton Elite Executive is a good radio, but it mutes when you start tuning around with the tuning knob. So if that's going to annoy you, Texan PL 680. Storms, radios, and cats says, should I get great signals from my wire dipole antenna on 11 meters over the A99 Antron? Adam Lozo just put up 100 feet of wire. It takes 90-degree band about 25 feet out. Is this okay? I want to have it hooked up for a few days. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It changes its properties a little bit, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's going to be fine. As long as it doesn't have too much noise, it's going to work great. What else do we have? Robert Osborne. Hi, everyone from Niagara Falls. Enjoying your program while I reload Linux to the PC in my Radio Shack. Cool. RJ Dakota. I don't live anywhere close to KC and still can pick up KC approach on D808. I'm told that we're in the area. Huh. Propagation sometimes, and the way that the they orient and the antennas for the different traffic they want. Sometimes you're in the right spot. Danny Shortwave Radio DX loves his Xiegu G90. Mark, nice to have you here from Vancouver. Bill Miller says the X6100, not bad for shortwave listening. Danny Shortwave using my Xiegu G90 for doing FT8 on 10 meters right now. So pretty cool. I got my Xiegu G90 last week and managed to transmit to USA and Japan FT8 here from the UK. You no longer need a Yaesu or Icon for that anymore. Yep, definitely. You know, I'm even curious to see what that little thing here that I got is going to be, capable of doing for me on FT8. Just in the park, I think it's going to be kind of cool. Matt says, okay, thank you. Texan definitely cheaper. Yep, and better as overall radio. What do we have? Matt says, I saw you hit Wisconsin this morning on 6-meter FT8 PSK per PSK reporter. Oh, really? So, it was open. I sent, what I did is 3 or 4 times today, I left, while I was working on other stuff, I left the transceiver send some CQ out on 6 meters to see if I would have any response somewhere. So, Storms and Cats. Anyone heard anything from N2EI Skip Array? Yeah, anything special? I see him every day. He's everywhere. I see him all the time. Carl Icon, pirate on 6950 kilohertz USB into New York. Let's go and check it out. 6950. I'm going to keep my phone close because, yeah, definitely a pirate. Not too bad of a signal, too. Just going to check something here because I sometimes get warnings of different things that are on. So that's okay. Yeah, definitely a pirate. Good signal also from the pirates on 6950 upper sideband at this time. Pretty good on the Air Spy HF Plus Discovery on my MLA 30. Oh, definitely, Matt. The Ethon is a sexy radio. I got it there. Look, it's right here. For or you're talking of the other Ethon, the Elite Executive. They're all good looking radios. Definitely, there are some that look better than others, but man. Simon Templar, 6 meter, the magic band, not mystery band. 0-100, nice to have you on board. KD2ANN from New Jersey. Danny B, nice to have you here. PE1PDS. Paul Steckler, clotheslines are good for the environment. Yes, definitely. Although here our electricity is very green because it's made by rivers. There's no burning of any fossil fuels or anything. Any shortwave, I hang my clothes in the boiler room or hang around the basement. Dries in a few hours. Well, maybe if I had a basement or something I would maybe do that. But here I would not see myself putting my clothes up in the apartment. It'll be, my I when when I live at the other place, um my mom would actually hang the clothes in the apartment. And I remember coming home from work and it was like so high humidity. But there's one positive thing about that. In the winter, it would never really get, because of the heating, it gets very dry. It would never get dry to the point where, we'd have problem with static electricity. So it's kind of good for the radios, not zapping any radios. Yeah, and Matt, the new one with the colored display, we're not even sure it's going to be. We have no news. We're not even sure it's going to be um, something that's going to come out. I mean, Ethon got burned bad by their Elite HD, and I think that that could maybe put a hold on anything new. Danny B. Wellbrook Communications will cease trading at the end of April 2023. This is due to retirement. I would like to thank everyone for the customer over the past 27 years. So, I think also what happens is the pressure of all of it sometimes might also, because they probably are going into retirement, but maybe they're retiring a little faster than expected because of the pressure of all of it around. Um, so, Jim's radio check. Yep, the muting. That's the biggest problem of a lot of the DSP radios, which is just so sad. The muting on these radios. Kevin, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. Voice of America booming in on 11720. Last day that you have that frequency. Tomorrow, new schedules, guys. Remember that? Tomorrow we are at the A23 schedule season. Everything that you have been listening to A lot of it might not be there tomorrow at the time and frequency they're used to. 823 schedules is, going to start. So I'm going to have to find some are predictable. A lot of stations use the same frequencies year after year when they change. But some you'll have to, maybe find the new frequencies where they are. And it will take a few weeks before most of the websites have accurate schedules, the time that they get updated and everything. So don't forget about that tomorrow. We are starting the new schedule season for sure. Simon Templar heading to 55 next month. Well, I just got 54 on Monday, so we don't want to, somehow when you're like, 15, you want to, you're always happy in your birthday. When you're 50 in the 50s, it's like, not too many birthdays. Mad Reader DXer added VE2ZZI to the wanted QSO list. We'll be able be at the Zoom tomorrow. Cool. It'll be fun to see everybody there. Matt says, do you think the new Elite will be better? We won't know. Honestly, we won't know at all until it's released. We will have no idea until it's released. Kevin Murray, nice to have you here from Windy, Wyoming. Running errands, working the CQ WPX contest. KK7HGD. Cool. Have fun with that. Now that I have the Yaesu FTDX10, which gives me a much better transceiver output, I can notice from the FT450 I had, one of the things that I have been thinking seriously is that I will probably be working the Canada Day contest on July 1st. I want to do it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, just for the fun of it. Sunwave says, I have doubts about the new Elite HD tech CPU power. With CPU power comes noise. Yeah, but it depends on how well they are done. The one that is the Elite HD has noise issues. That's the biggest complaint right now. Even though they fixed the HD lock that was happening all the time, it's a crazy noisy radio. For the price, it's unacceptable. John Beckham, it seems like there's more activity on the shortwave bands these days. Yeah, but the higher solar activity, a lot of the higher frequencies are now propagating better also. So it's giving us more choice of frequencies and things to listen to. So pretty cool. Let's go down. Let's go down as fast as we can. So this is good. Where was I? Let's go down here. So we are past the 200 mark today, which is pretty nice. I don't know what's happening that more people are watching, but nice to see the going up to the above 200 mark. Gary Pence, nice to have you here from Dallas, KM5X. Robert Cross, evening's getting brighter and summer comes and much harder to get shortwave radio stations. It depends. We have higher solar activity in the evening. Usually in the summer, it's kind of nice. And nighttime also. So Pirate 6950 kilohertz upper sideband is radio free whatever. Cool. Rod and Animal clothesline is good to have. You can even use it as an antenna. Yep. Shortwave Archive. Do you have any new QSLs, ham, or shortwave broadcast? I haven't received anything new lately. So nothing really in that department of QSL cards. There's a 14-year-old Belgian um, not Belgian, sorry, Austrian guy that wrote me, a teenager, sent me an email. He got my slow scan television image when I was sending CQ one day, and he sent me an email from Austria showing the picture. And he said, I would like to have your QSL card. And he says he's 14 years old and he's listening to Shortwave. So it's kind of cool. It makes me think of when I was young. So definitely he's getting a QSL card. I filled out all the stuff. I'm going to put the card in the mail this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Andy New, get a Xeger G90. I will. It's in my bucket list of what I'm going to get soon. What else do we have? Matt we need more thumbs up. What else do we have? Danny Shortwave. Mike WDX is going to try to participate in the Zoom. Danny Shortwave says FT8 is great. I made contact with Algeria in North Africa on 10 meters yesterday. Need Oceania to work all continents words. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Just do it in the proper times and you're going to get it easily. Honestly, it's I got some really nice stations this week. I got Cape Verde that says on SSB voice. I got Gabon FT8. I've got Guinea. I've got even yesterday with propagation that was kind of crappy, and I was only seeing stations from the United States pretty much. On 30 meters, I saw French Polynesia appear, and I just called the station back after 2 or 3 tries, answered back, got a French Polynesia on 30 meters. I already had contacted him on 20 and on 15, I believe, or 17. But now I got him on 30, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of interesting to see, even when conditions seem bizarre or not there, you can still get some DX through that, depending on where they are. So what else do we have? KW1161, let's go zoom, zoom, zoom. Leon, nice to have you here. Leon Atchison in the UK. Storms, Radios, and Cats says radio free whatever, hitting hard with lots of fades. Cool. You bought a Geiger counter, Mud Max. What are you going to use that for? I always wanted one, just for the fun of it. You know, it makes a great conversation. You know, it's like people come over, you don't know what to talk about. Oh, have you seen my new Geiger counter? Arthur's out of Crafter's Kitchen says only Yaesu I have is an FRG7 with Barlow Wadley loop tuning. It's fun to tune, not the best performer, great audio. Pre-selector is a pain to track. Belmar hearing it in Northern Ireland. Dwayne, Gilles, last year I could not get a Zoom. This year I am still on a iPhone, no computer, but I hope tomorrow I can make it on. Yeah, just install the Zoom app. And once you click on the email, that link for Zoom, it's going to start the app, and it should work. It usually works fine on the iPhones. Just learn, where to unmute or mute when you are on the, on the device, so that you can share with us if we get to you. But it should work. Sunwave solar storm maxed out at G5. Yeah, it was very, very powerful solar geomagnetic storm that we had. It's not a solar storm, geomagnetic storm, different thing. We got to make a difference between a solar storm and the geomagnetic storm. So that one was actually a surprise. The geomagnetic storm that we had this week, which was very powerful, was not predicted. And when it hit, it surprised everybody. KW61, no joy in Antarctica and Tucson yet, but continue monitoring. I think as the day goes on, you'll hear it. Smoke and Steam, how do I Zoom? So you click the link that I posted. It's going to send you a link in the email after you register, and all you need is a device that has a Zoom capability, an iPhone, an Android phone, an iPad, a Android tablet, a PC. Rotten Animal. Rented a remote cabin about 150 miles north of Lake Superior. We listened to Shortwave, and I was amazed at how quiet the stations were. My girlfriend is a ham and said listening was never cleaner. No, even singles. That's the thing that sometimes we don't realize from the good old days. A lot of stations in the good old days were not that strong, but we didn't have the noise to fight. So we were hearing them. Go to a place where it's quiet. You'll listen to a BBC with a very average signal, but it's so clear that it's just easy to listen to. Noise is truly the hobby killer, unfortunately. Stuart Joseph, nice to have you on board from Pocomoke City, Maryland. Storms, Razors, and Cats, 15475 week, but listenable in central Kentucky. Matt Tanks Jill, I wonder if the new proposed elite executive will have muting. I'm sure it will. It's a DSP based radio. It probably will. I have a hard time thinking it won't. Hey, David in Barcelona. Nice to have you here. EA3IEK, EA4998URE. VT Radio, Gel W1AW/1 will be operating from Vermont starting 0 Zulu on the 29th for 1 week. I will be on various modes in the evening all week. Well, I'll try to make the contact. We should. I had quite a few. I have a few of them. W1AW/ I got 5/5 this week. I have another one / I don't remember I'd have to go in the log to see, but I've contacted a few of them. I'm going to try for it. Anyways, I listen and I watch so much that I will be, and I look at I always look at the clusters all the time. So it's definite that I will see it go through, and it's definite I'm going to try it. Julien, nice to have you here from the U.S. Virgin Island. Carl Icon says pirate on 6935 upper sideband. Oh, yeah, I see it here on the display. It's really strong, too. Yep. Sorry, guys. So definitely strong pirate coming in. I'll keep an eye on my phone because sometimes I get messages from people. Let me just check here if everything's all right. Yep. Okay. So yeah, 2 power is very strong. Radio free, whatever, 6950 upper sideband, and another one on 6935 that is almost as strong, and yeah, pretty much the same strength. Very, very good signal. So yeah, happy birthday, Craig, once again, and hope you have a great birthday dinner there, my friend. Stuart Joseph, what type of simple low-cost aerial I can use with a Zenith transoceanic radio? I started with a wire. I'd start with a simple wire and hook it up to it and see how it performs if you don't have too many too much noise around you. What else do we have? Joseph Merol, nice to have you here. And is the XH Data 808 still your top choice for 2023? For the price, performance, and all features, it's definitely difficult to beat as a radio. It's definitely a good radio. It's up there at the top, definitely. Richard Wagner, clothesline is ecologically friendly, solar and wind powered. Yep. There's this meme that goes on Facebook from time to time. I see it, and you see these two women talking, and one of the women put clothes on the clothesline outdoors, and she says it's using all of the latest technologies, solar and wind. KW1161 says Eton didn't get burned; they set themselves on fire. Yeah, pretty much. Michael, 750 won't even make a good boat anchor. It's too light. It's going to float. I tried to stop my boat with it, but it just floats. Somehow the water made it better. Oh, man. Let me just get back here. Okay, we'll continue down the list. Oli G says thoughts on portable operation QRP radios. Xiegu G90 is one of those that's fun for that. Like I said, I'm going to try this thing, which, it doesn't have super highly rated reviews, but I mean, I got it for a shipping cost, so definitely going to be something interesting to try and have fun with, for sure. 5 watts. I mean, FT8 5 watts and a decent antenna can do the world with that. What else do we have? Radio Romania, 9430 kilohertz, says the Shortwave Archive. Smoke and Stream, the SDR has really changed our radio world, although the DX440 is still my go-to radio. Software-defined receivers have changed totally the way we tune, the way we see the radio signals. I mean, this is great. Still not hearing LRA 36 right now, but it definitely changed the way. I mean, I got these great rigs here. Look at that. I got the guys. Ouch. So behind the clock, there's an ICOM ICR 8500, and down here there's a Kenwood R5000. I want to position them and have them in a working order in a way, because I'm still reorganizing here, but I want them to be there ready to work if I need them and I want to listen to the radio, because I mean it's a shame that these receivers are not getting all the love that they should have, for sure. Skipwave DX just bought a Texan R9700 DX analog radio on Amazon for when I'm laying around in bed. I hear a lot of great reviews there. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you on board. 105 people registered for tomorrow at this point. So come on, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun to see everyone. Once again, let's share the link. If you guys want to join in the Zoom tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 hours UTC, click the link, just fill out your name and email. You'll get the link for tomorrow's Zoom. Going to be a lot of fun to see each other. Want to thank you, Sheldon, and Canadian International DX Club for the opportunity of using the Zoom account of the club for this purpose. I mean, it's totally worth it. And what about a little promotion? Do you know what the Canadian International DX Club is all about? It's a radio club, and it has a monthly Zoom meeting. First of all, so if you're in the you like to have, chit chat radio with people, we have the monthly Zoom meeting on the club. But it also has a fantastic little publication every month. It's an electronic publication, and it is called The Messenger. The Messenger is a all around radio guide, if you want. It is a bulletin that has every aspect of the hobby. This is the cover of the month of March. So this is the latest, and I'm actually started working on the. I'm part of the utilities column. I do the utility columns for the messenger. There's Mickey Dalmage does the very interesting column. Eric Cottrell, Ham Radio Muse and News, which is very good. And there's so much more. There's radio reviews. There's a million wave band, broadcast band stuff. Um, and I mean, it's full of information. The pirate bands, there's pirate news and all of that. So World of Utilities. This is my column here, World of Utilities, where this month we were talking about all the signals you hear from the UK, from aeronautical, military, and so on. Lots of stuff in here. It's a great. There's the shortwave logbooks with all the logs. Very interesting for the QSL cards. Free radio scene for pirates. World Radio. We have resources of all the different schedules and websites. The DX program guide. And not just listening, which is everything radio related that is not on the radio. So it could be a book. It could be a movie. It could be, a story somewhere, nothing, a podcast. Uncle Skip's Bookshelf, which of course talks about books that have to do with radio, technical topics where you have all sorts of information about devices, and sometimes reviews and so on. Lots of stuff in here. So you actually can join for. You could ask for a sample copy first of all. If you've never asked for a sample copy, you can ask for a sample, and all you have to do is ask for at sample at cidxclub.ca. And you can also go to cidxclub.ca webpage to see all the details. $10 for a year, $25 for 3 years. You get a publication. It's not a subscription that you're paying. You're actually paying your dues as a membership to a club. You're part of the Canadian International DX Club. And you actually not just have, like I said, that publication every month, Zoom meeting once a month where we can, exchange ideas about radio, talk about radio. And so it's really being part of a club, and it's so inexpensive, and it's a great way to be part of a gang, a radio gang, and be part of getting a great publication that has a lot of information every single month. So once again, I want to thank Sheldon and CIDX also for letting me use the club Zoom account for tomorrow's Zoom meeting. It's really something cool, and I want to thank. It wouldn't be possible without that, and it's going to be so much fun to see you guys. So join in, okay, guys. The more we are, the merrier we'll be, and the more fun we're going to have. And it's always fun to see each other and have a better idea of who we are all as individuals through video. If you don't have a camera, doesn't matter. You can join in with audio. So hope to see you tomorrow at the Zoom. So what else do we have? Gustavo Bernades, nice to have you on board from Venezuela, hearing Radio Estéreo de España on 9690, very clear signal. Yeah, and don't forget that tomorrow they're probably going to change to their summer frequency, which will be, if it stays the same as last year, what was it, 17855? So that's going to be the new one for tomorrow, probably. So that's possibly the last day we're getting 9690 for this time of year, actually. And they'll be back on 9690 probably this fall. Jasmine, nice to have you on board from sunny Seattle. 000 won't be able to take part in the Zoom meeting tomorrow due to work. Definitely next time. Definitely. Justin, that's awesome. Jill, the next generation of shortwave listeners, decoders has arrived. Yeah, definitely. Mark W, watched your video on the Russian time signal broadcast, received a station and sent a recording. I have confirmation that a card is in the mail from Moscow. Cool. That is nice. Congratulations. Shortwave archive. At least I'm not the only one. I'm turning 14 in a week. Cool. Cool. Well, there's more than we think. It's just having a way to funnel and get them around. Here there's a surprisingly high amount of newcomers and young people to the hobby. People in their teens, people in the young 20s, 30s, that come in and enjoy being around with us because we talk about what we love the most, radio. Um, Marvin Motz, good morning from the Japan Islands. Nice to have you on board. The cherry blossom season starts. That's always beautiful. Always comes to mind a beautiful QSL card I got from NHK Japan. Oh yeah, it's still caused by the sun, V9 JMC, definitely, but it's a different thing. It's not a solar storm; it's geomagnetic storm. There's still a difference. Still a difference. Because we could be in solar storms where there's a lot of flares and a lot of things happening, crapping out reception and all, but not necessarily impacting us in the geomagnetic field. But definitely, it's still caused by the sun. Man, Max, I mainly bought it just for the fun of learning, testing things. Wanted to have something to see the background radiation, see how space weather and sun changes the readings. Yeah, if you have one of those old smoke detectors that has that little piece of radioactive, I don't remember what material to use, but maybe if you put it real close, you could see a difference. I definitely, for a long time, I wanted to have one. I was like, yeah, it's just so cool, Robert Cross set up for Zoom. Cool. Artist Alley Crafter's Kitchen join Zoom tomorrow on the iPhone. Better camera than my laptop and easier to move around. Yes, definitely. KD4 BAO. Yep, the noise pollution is a great problem today. It's the biggest problem we have in the hobby, both for shortwave listening and for amateur radio. Boomer's Life, ready for tomorrow from San Diego. Cool. Robert Osborne, I wish I could speak Spanish. A lot of Spanish language signals. Never too late, Robert. RJ Dakota, been set up for Zoom, but I'll have to be on this phone. Really don't have a computer. Well, you don't need a computer. If you have a phone, works great. Well, nice to have you here, David in Barcelona. Greg, left shortwave radio in the Texan H501X. Cool. What else do we have? VT Radio just turned the radio on for the first time in a few days. 6935 strong here. Jasmine says, well, Dad, and watching telenovelas. Yeah. I remember I got rid of it. I had the full VHS tapes of the telenovela to learn Spanish with the books that my sister had. My sister would love to go back in the 80s, 90s, part of the 90s. She loved to go to Venezuela every year. And she learned Spanish. Antal, nice to have you here. Do you guys know the Hungarian-made Videoton tuners or speakers? Hungarian, I just wonder if any of you have them. There's so many different things that were there in different countries. Sheldon, CY0S on 21295 from Sable Island. I got them on 30 meters FT8. Let's go check it out here. Very, very weak. I don't hear him much. Very, very weak. What else do we have? Let's go down here. But definitely, I one of the things that when you talk about Spanish, one of the things that reminds me all the time is how happy as a shortwave listeners I was to speak and understand French and English because it opened up the world of listening to other broadcasts in about whatever language they were, French or English. I would listen to them, so it gave me even more broadcasts I could listen to, and I had a great listening of it was easy for me for a lot of African stations that were in French to make reception reports and so on. Um, KD4BAO running an old Radio Shack DX390 for my portable receiver. That's great. Anything works. Anything that works. Adam Lozo, should I minimize the amount of wire inside the house for my simple antenna? I read that I really need coax to avoid noise. If a lot of the noise comes from inside your home. So what happens is that part in your home, you should be running a shielded coax cable. That will avoid that part of interference, and then start your wire antenna outdoor, but as far away as the house as possible, so that you avoid your own interference. That definitely would make a difference because that wire, you can maybe have some good reception outdoor, but the part of the wire that's in the house not shielded could actually just scrap a perfectly good reception because of all the noise in the house that it's picking up. So coax is definitely the way to go in general inside. Boomer's Life, what is a good desktop HF receiver? Would love a Kenwood R5000, but cost prohibitive. Yeah, the problem with that is that most are not worth the price they're sold for, and you got to cope with the fact that a lot have problems as they get older. For example, the Kenwood R5000 has the dots problem in the display with the phase lock loop losing its lock, key bounce, and other receivers have other types of problems. Unfortunately, that's something you got to cope with, and that is the problem in buying an old desktop receiver. So, but you got a lot of I understand the attraction to a desktop radio. Often, what you could look at also is some ham transceivers. Some of them, a lot of them are great shortwave radios. Um, you know, Dwayne 6950 radio free whenever, booming into Tennessee, and 6935 not making it. Jasmine, I took my Malahit and MLA30 with me making hiking far from the noise makes a big difference. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Oh man, the battery pack for the MLA30 that will last forever. One of the biggest problems with the USB battery packs to power the MLA30 is you got to be careful. Some battery packs, like this one, for example, that I have here, what I'm using a lot. Now, in your case, you probably were, if you actually power the Malahit receiver with it, also works fine. But in the case of one that like this one that I have, what I like, it has a lot of power. This is a nice power pack, but problem is on powering a radio, powering all sorts of things, it works great and it lasts a long time. But if I put the MLA30 on this, it doesn't draw enough power. So the battery pack shuts down because it thinks nothing's plugged in. That tells you how much low power the MLA30 amp is using. It's just crazy. RGA Dakota says, can you hear 21295 in Winsville? EVA9 JMC is hearing LA 36 right now in my noise floor. Cool. John Earnshaw says a man can never have too many radios. Definitely. Danny Shortwave will be there. Cool, 105 people for tomorrow. RJ Dakota 21295 sounds to me like a freeway. Michael, good life preserver, 750 floats. So, how did you survive the Titanic? I actually hung to my 750, and it was a great floating device. BT radio not hearing 15477. It's 14476, but hearing 15770, which is WRMI, usually is very, very loud. A60A from the United Arab Emirates on 14163.8. Let's check that out. It's very good here. Very good signal from Alpha 60 Alpha on that frequency. Carl Icon, U.S. Coast Guard's voice weather 8764 kilohertz broadcasting AM. Isn't that usually USB? It is USB usually. You're hearing it in AM 8764. Now? Just check it out here. 8764. That is interesting. I am hearing it very well in AM. You know what's happening? I think it's their transmitter has issues. Because if I put myself in upper, go down one. Yeah. Look at that, guys. 8764. The weather is an AM. That is so weird. So weird. At this time, what are. Oh, sorry, guys. It'll be 2 seconds. I'm waiting for a keyboard. Okay, guys, back. I was waiting for a wireless keyboard. Okay. So 8764 in AM, that is weird. But if you listen to 6501, 6501 is in sideband. Well, that definitely is weird. 8764 in AM mode. Definitely is weird. Okay. Paraguay ZP5AA on 14282. The PBRSTG, nice to have you on board. And the snowy northern Green Mountains. What's the weather like out there? It's now all white. I'm going to show you guys a security camera. You guys are going to see. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's not full AM, but it's weird. I've never. Could it be there's a carrier? Because Jim's radio check says he hears 8764 upper, but can't hear it on AM. Could there be a carrier in our area here? So this winter has come back to Montreal now. This is what it looks like. And these are the steps of the Amazon delivery guy. So let's just go down here. I think I'm missing out a little bit. I'm not sure. Make sure I'm not missing out anybody. I'm going to go down. So that is so weird. 8764 sounds AM here. Radioactive Boy Scout. Huh. Never heard that. Americium. Yeah. That's the thing. What's used in normal radioactive home smoke detectors. Yeah. Mine isn't working like that. Mine is a new type with kind of ionization, whatever. John Earnshaw just registered M0JFE. Cool. Michael, why did small portables start using those new types of batteries? Because of charging capabilities? I think it's part charging. I think it's part also the fact that the form factor of the radios, less space. Smaller radios don't have a lot of space in them, so putting AA batteries was taking too much space for some. And maybe also because they're so convenient today. I mean, those 18650s NBL5Cs have become very common, although you don't find them in the corner store all the time. So, I think all of that together and the fact that for the same size, lithium ion batteries pack more energy, so it lasts longer. Mr. C's garage, get a Geiger counter, radiation suit, walk around the neighborhood and see the neighbor's reaction. Man, Max, okay. Americium is mainly an alpha emitter. Doesn't detect. Okay. But the decay of americium will produce some gamma, which detect. Okay. Sheldon, Cape Verde, 21340. Let's check it out here. I'm hearing him not super strong, but he's there. He's there. Jasmine says, well, we're going out of business. MLA30 probably impacted their sales. Yeah, well, officially the story is that they're retiring, but maybe they're retiring faster. Stuart Johnson, see you tomorrow on the Zoom. Stay safe, everybody. Take care, my friend. Rodrigo Galter, very good night. I arrived here listening to LRA 36 15476 upper sideband. Loud signal from 9J4X from Ghana on 14136.9. That's the one that I contacted this week. Madrid DXer, when I use my LA30 with a portable battery pack, I use a USB keep alive stick to prevent the battery pack from shutting down. Yeah, you got to. You got to, because it doesn't take enough power. The battery pack thinks there's nothing on. Joseph Nusser, basic scan on my Pocket PL330. Texan PL330 logged twice as many stations I normally expect at this hour of the day in Virginia. Cool. Man Max, hook the MLA30 up to one of those USB power diagnostics tools that in conjunction, so it will draw enough power. Yeah. I got some here. I got a couple of those sticks here that I could use. Rodrigo Galter, nice to have you here from Brazil. Darren Rogers, nice to have you here from Long Island, New York, KB2AHS. Tim Schmidt, I need one radio to rule them all. Not sure what to get. Felipe E. Bennett, dial to 27665, and I will say hello from Mexico. Let's see if we can hear that. 27665. Oops. I'm on 27665. Upper sideband. KM400S, Dothan, Alabama. Agata Crisps. Curious about transmissions from Eastern Europe. There was a YouTube channel that recorded these signals daily. I don't know. Michael says 8764. Wow. No, I don't have any channels or anything that I could point you towards any direction, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff about that there. Jasmine, deliveries always happen during the show. I heard somebody. I did hear someone. Joseph Nusari 8764 booming in on AM. Guitar Man says, I'm hearing the weather on 8764 here in Southern Ontario. David X for another radio? No. Wireless keyboard to replace another one that I scrapped with water that fell in it. Darren Rogers getting excellent reception, 8764. BT Radio, 8764, loud in SX Junction. So yeah, it's not full AM, but still, it's kind of weird. Yeah. It's very weird because usually they don't use any AM or anything or any, kind of AM mode. 6501 is truly in single sideband, upper sideband. Kind of weird. So, Ricardo, nice to have you here from Portugal. Richard Edge, yeah, there is. It's the WPX contest this weekend. The World Prefix Contest Ham Radio. Yeah, it's not as good in LSB or lower sideband, but man, it's in AM. I kind of AM. You can hear it in AM mode. David Wade, nice to have you here. Um, just on the side, 764 coming in stronger in the upper sideband. Bob, but why would 8764 be better on LSB or not USB or whatever, the other way around? Yeah, well, there is something also that you got to remember, like CHU Canada time signal is a suppressed carrier upper sideband signal. If you listen to CHU Canada time signal, if you put your radio in upper sideband, it works great. But if you put lower sideband, you'll notice you don't hear anything. And that's because it is the type of mode they're using. It's kind of an upper sideband with suppressed carrier. So it's still audible on a normal AM radio, but it is meant to be used on upper sideband for better readability if you want. Richard Wagner getting both AM and upper sideband. Arctic Circle got 1 meter of snow. Sheldon Harvey, we're now at 113 for the Zoom meeting, guys. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. RJ Dakota can hear 8764 on AM and USB, but not lower sideband. Max, an ionizing smoke detector is still using a radioactive source. They just call it something else. There's an optical smoke detector that doesn't use any radioactive source. No, that's I think I mixed it up. Mine is the optical one. It does say it doesn't have any any radioactive stuff. Yeah, the ionizing one is the one with the radioactive source. No, mine is an optical one, and it's very different because when I had the old one with the radioactive source, if I would cook something and there'd be a little bit of smoke, it would immediately start ringing, which was very annoying. The new one does not start on smoke coming from a pots and pans. And they were saying in the manual that it detects because of its optical way of detecting the particles of smoke. There's less chances it's going to actually start when it's smoke because of something you're cooking. Richard Califano, all registered for tomorrow. Cool. Going to be fun. Kevin, Pirates 7218 lower sideband. What is he doing? Playing music or something? There's some weird stuff on the handband sometimes. Oops. 7218. I'm not hearing anything on 7218, but I do hear a stay in AM. There's a broadcast, an international broadcast on 7215, though. Robert Cross can barely hear it in Ireland. Take care, Paul. Have a nice evening. Yeah, a lot of number of stations use suppressed carrier also, definitely. Others outcrafters. When we got our first home smoke detector, my dad thought the slight radioactivity was the coolest thing and that we had now entered the nuclear age. Yeah, there is some over the horizon radar. I heard it too, Jasmine. It was pretty strong here too. Mad Radio DXer that says that he's hearing AM mode on the University of 20 SDR. Did someone select the wrong mode? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I've never heard 8764 in AM mode here. It is so weird. So weird. I got to tell you. But 6501 was an upper sideband like usual. So it's very, very bizarre. Let's check out for LRA 36. If you're hearing anything. It's starting to pick up a little bit. I'm hearing LRA 36 now on 15476. Not as strong as last week, but I guess probably going to come stronger in the next hour and a half. Yep, 8764 just went silent. S6501 and all the frequencies. Whereas their usual 2130 transmission that was there. So kind of interesting. Jasmine, the only thing weirder than hearing 8764 in AM was me hearing WLO on 8788 and upper sideband a few weeks ago. Yeah, that was weird. 8788, hearing that. Remember the UTC time, Jasmine, out of curiosity? I'll try to pick it up and see if I can hear it. Because it's so weird. Do I get 11780? Yep, very strong. So very good signal from Brazil on the 11780. RJ Dakota, an FM station is now heard on medium wave. Classic rock station on FM KWUL is now heard on 920 AM WJNU, which is a huge flip here. Up until recently, 920 was CBS Sports. Wow. 1117 UTC. Huh. So weird. Talking about medium wave, guys. There's a medium wave DX test happening tonight. There's a medium wave test tonight, so I'm going to give you the details here. So tonight, starting at midnight and 1 minute Eastern Daylight Time, that's at 0401 UTC, you will have a 2-hour DX test. It's going to be going until 2 a.m., so until 06 UTC. And you'll have WWKY in Winchester, Kentucky, and WMST 1150 in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, both conducting maintenance tests for full 2 hours. They'll be running their daytime power and pattern. So WMST on 1150 kilohertz will be 2,500 watts, and WWKY on 990 kilohertz will be 1,000 watts. The test will consist mostly of sweep tones, Morse code at 20 words per minute and 12 words per minute, 1 kilohertz long tones, and proven sound effects to cut through the noise. The stations also plan to run some special programming that is sure to be fun. So, okay, you guys, if you want to try for an AM radio test tonight, WWKY 990 kilohertz in Winchester, Kentucky, and WMST 1150 in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, continuing We'll be conducting maintenance tests. So from midnight to 2 a.m. Eastern, that's 04 to 06 UTC. And they will be sending out sweep tones, Morse code, and all of that. I will be tuning the medium wave band and search for these signals tonight. So if you guys want to check it out, it's going to be pretty cool. It's always fun to have these DX tests. Jasmine, someone playing music on 27665. Hey, Don John, nice to have you here. Khalid Wave, nice to have you here from Riyadh. Greg likes the international radio report. Interesting things on shortwave. Talking of international radio report, we also have the show now available on the Internet Archive. They have 472 recordings, including some from 2000 to 2005. So there's a lot of shows there for the International Radio Report on the Internet Archive. So just to fetch let me just fetch the National Radio Report. Go. And let's go here. International Radio Report show. So this is the one here, but where's the main? I'll go to the main page here. They have, of course, all the links to our. So here we go. International Radio Report. If you guys want to check it out, it is available here. So Creator International Radio Report, and let me just check it out here by title. Oh, look at that. The old ones have shown up like that. Okay. So you can check it out on the archive.org website. Here's one link. It doesn't show them all of it, but that's because of the date search. But you will have access to old shows there. Go and check it out on the archive. International Radio Report show that we have. And of course, we are in our last week. Tomorrow, the show is our last day of the CKUT funding drive, where we're asking people, if you like the show, to donate a little something to ckut.ca. You can click the donate button and go give a little something to maintain community radio stations and have shows like the International Radio Report that exists thanks to CKUT on 90.3 FM in Montreal. So Danny Shortwave is back from hanging clothes in the boiler room. Hi there, Ed. After 70, birthdays are again reasons to celebrate. Yeah, yes, in a way, yes. John Ershaw, catch up later, guys. Take care. Stay safe, my friend M0JFE. Paul, nice to have you here from Southwest Michigan. Arctic Circle 11815, Radio Brazil Central. Yep, that one is regular. Richard Califano, listen to a show on YouTube from a medium wave station in Buffalo, New York from 1966. Bring back memories. That's for sure. Shortwave Archive, do you get Shannon involvement on 13264? We'll try it here. But I hear it regularly there. Yeah, it's very good. Look at that. Nothing better than having a notch filter to remove that tone. So pretty good. The Shannon Volmet weather station from Shannon, Ireland. And by the way, you can QSL them. They send QSLs. So it's pretty good. Pretty good signal. Um, mm, 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 mm. Jasmine, since gravitational waves have different frequencies, I wonder if it would be possible for an advanced civilization to build a gravity wave radio transmitter. Well, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Sheldon Harvey is sharing the DX test tonight from the 2 stations. Thank you so much. One more reminder, of course, of the Zoom meeting tomorrow. Absolutely. This is going to be fun to see all of you guys. Nice. We passed the 200. I didn't see the highest number, but we passed 210 viewers today, which is a little better than average, which is nice. Kind of fun to see all of the people joining in and, trying to get a little glimpse of our live shows, which is always fun to do and always fun to check out. So take care, Sheldon. See you tomorrow, and have a great supper. And talking about supper, I'm also going to retire for the rest of the evening. I'm going to cook some spaghetti and take it easy. I've got a few things to do, and I want to take it easy also, since tomorrow we're going to be quite a few hours on the Zoom meeting. So that's a lot of camera time for the weekend. So yeah, you guys in Europe, the clocks are changing tonight. And don't forget, guys, that starting at 0 UTC tonight for a lot of stations, we are going we can't really resend the link, Adam. You know what? If you don't find it, every email has a search box. You can just enter the search box and just type Zoom, and you're probably going to have that email pop up again. Adam. Yep, tomorrow is going to be very, very difficult to manage a lot of people like that. So, tomorrow when we say that, when it's your turn and we try to keep it short, we'll have to keep it short, because it's going to take a long time to go through all of the people. Definitely. So take care, everybody. Hope that everybody is going to be fine. See all of you tomorrow, all those that are in the Zoom meeting. It's going to be a lot of fun to be there. And thank you, Kevin Murray, for donating to CKUT. And, without CKUT, the International Reader Report never would have existed. I mean, Sheldon had that opportunity happen in 1987 when CKUT got on the air. Without that opportunity, there would probably not be such a thing as the International Reader Report. So it's kind of cool for that. So hope to have all of you here. Thanks, everybody. And see you tomorrow on the Zoom. And hope that, I'm going to have to go order by order and people by people and try to, everybody's going to have his chance tomorrow. Marco Davi, take care. And once again, last little post of, see you all. Stay safe. And KW61. Hope Gravity Wave isn't in hip hop. Beam C Bike, take care. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Once again, hope to see you tomorrow on the Zoom. Will be a lot of fun. Bye, everyone.